boss babes, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how you are going to be picking a brand name for your online store. And basically, I'm just going to be giving you guys all the tea, all the tips, all the tricks. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing you're going to want to go ahead and do is to figure out who is going to be buying from you. How do you want your customers to feel? What kind of keywords do you think of when you hear your brand name? So when somebody's going on your website, what is the kind of vibe that they should feel when they're looking at your clothes? Do they feel like an Instagram baddie? Do they get spiritual vibes? Do they get vintage vibes? Do they get housewife vibes? You know, you want to just go ahead and figure out who exactly is going to be purchasing from you and who your target audience is. So for example, my brand name was Baddie All Night. And basically, when I thought of that brand name, I wanted to make sure the person who's wearing that stuff wants to feel like they're the baddest at the table, they're the baddest at the club, they're the baddest at the party, and they just look the best wherever they go. So when you hear Baddie All Night, you're gonna kind of know like what type of clothing, what type of vibe you're going to be shopping from. So make sure your store brand name definitely appeals to the vibe of your audience. The way you can do this is by taking a piece of paper and writing down some words that come up into your mind when you think of your brand. So if I sit here and think of a plant business, for example, what's going to pop in my head? Well, I can think of obviously the word plants. I can think of the word greenery. I can think of, I don't know, nature. So I'm not too good in that little plant realm, but that's just an example of a way you could think of keywords that remind you of the niche you are selling in. So make sure you're brainstorming and write down the keywords on a piece of paper. Now, if you are really uncreative and you struggle to kind of get into the creative side of your brain like me, you can also use a free business name generator online. So I know Shopify has one for free. I know there's a website called businessnamegenerator.com, and you don't want to actually use the business names that they're giving you, but you want to use them for inspiration and to write them down so it can help you to brainstorm your own brand name. Write those words down, make sure they're easy to remember, they are catchy, because I'm telling you, you're going to be coming up with the best brand names when you're doing absolutely nothing. So that is the first tip I have for you in picking your business name. Now, the second tip that I want to move on to is to keep it under 3 words. And I think honestly 3 words is even pushing it. My brand name was 3 words, but I wouldn't go above that. When that person is searching your brand name in the website domain or online or on Google, nobody wants to be searching a domain that's this long, okay? So make sure you are not having some long name that's difficult to remember, something that's difficult to spell, something that people aren't going to remember. Something you could try out is using alliteration. If you don't know what alliteration is, it's basically just a group of words that have the same letter in the beginning. So Coca-Cola, Dunkin' Donuts, Best Buy, Wanted Wardrobe, PayPal. Those are all examples of alliterations because they contain more than one word or a certain type of rhythm that starts with the same first letter. The reason why you want to try alliteration is, and this is a fact, is because alliteration actually has a mnemonic effect on your brain, meaning it helps humans remember things because it's more playful and rhythmic. So try out alliteration. As I mentioned before, some of the biggest brand names use this tactic because they know it's catchy and they know that it's easier for people to remember. So try using alliteration in your brand name and let me know how that goes. So the next thing I want to talk about is you don't want to limit your brand name / over describe your brand name. So what I mean by this is, let's say you had a store where your first product you were selling are a certain type of fidget spinner, but overall you want it to be in the category of selling cool types of gadgets. So if you name your brand name fidgetspinners.com versus coolgadgets.com, you have just limited yourself in the types of products you can sell, because if I am going onto a website that is called fidgetspinners.com, I'm expecting to buy only fidget spinners. Now, what you could have done was to name it something like coolgadgets.com, where you have more of a variety and you could sell more than one type of item in your store. So don't limit yourself by over describing your title. Pick something that proves your brand identity, but at the same time is general enough to where you can sell different types of items and you're not limited to one kind of thing. One little catchphrase I have for you guys that can help you remember this is fit the vibe, don't over describe. So if you ever forget, just make sure to fit the vibe but don't over describe. So make sure to write that down and remember that. The next thing I want to talk about, and perhaps one of the most important parts of this video, is to make sure you are picking your brand name correctly. And what I mean by correctly is there's so much misinformation on how to pick your brand name on the internet, and so many people tell you to go on the trademark database, make sure it's not taken, and assume you're good, but that is just just not the case. And I have preached this in my other videos, but you wanna first and foremost check that A, your whole entire brand name is not taken on the trademark database, on social media handles, in the domain host, and B, you want to make sure that there are no competitors with a similar brand name in the same category that could potentially become a conflict when you try to trademark your name. And this is the real thing, you guys. I had tried to trademarked my business name about 2 years ago, and I got issued an office action pretty much saying that my brand name was too similar to other competitors within the same field, and it would have confused people in which store they're shopping from. Now, of course, this is not actually the case in the real world. People aren't going to confuse my brand from other brands because we are just so different in what we sell and we have completely different items. But in the world of law and in the world of legal things, they see that as the same thing, and they did not let me proceed without issuing a whole clause and explanation back. So you want to make sure that A, your whole brand name is not taken, and B, that there are no similar names within your same category that can cause a conflict later on. And unfortunately, the only way I know of to check this is to go manually on the trademark database, type in your brand name, check that, and then type in any keywords in your brand name, scroll through other companies that may have those words, and manually look at the category. Now, there may be an easier way. I personally do not know it. I would very much so appreciate it if you do and you comment it down below, but the best way that I say to do this is to definitely get a lawyer. However, I know that is not feasible for everybody, so that is just another way that you can do it that is easier and cheap and free up front. Moving on, if you're really struggling and really stressing out, just remember that it is not going to make or break your business if you do not have a good brand name set. Of course, having a good brand name is going to put you at an advantage because even though it is just as simple as a couple of words, it is a big part of your identity and a part of your branding, and branding can set you ahead of your competition. So why not use every single advantage you can towards your business, whether that's a brand name or whether that is picking the right types of clothes. So you want to make sure that you're ahead of everybody in the game, but it really is not that big of a deal if your brand name does not match your audience. There are plenty of stores out there that are making it work with the weirdest names, so don't even worry about it. But if you can get something that is similar, you can get something that fits the vibe and the aesthetic, that is just going to put you up here. So make sure you're going to go ahead and do that, but don't make it a thing where you're stressing yourself and stopping yourself from starting your business. So I think that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far, let me know in the comments down below and let me know if I've helped you out. If I have, I would like to ask you to please hit that subscribe button, as it helps my channel so much, and you guys know that I'm almost monetized, so I'm super excited for that. So all you have to do is hit that little red button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it would mean the world to me. So I want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!